Hello everyone, it is I, the Golden Scouta, bringing you another What If discussion. And this would not be a What If discussion if I did not have my guest with me, Dragon Ball Dad. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Great to be back getting my What If on. Wouldn't be the same if we didn't do this together, so I'm really looking forward to getting into this one.
Oh yeah, me too. We've been talking about this for a while and we're finally getting to it. So, what if Tenshinhan remained evil? And this is something that I actually kind of saw some people be like, wow, I never thought of that discussion topic before. So, how can this happen? I mean, obviously we saw that Tenshinhan was persuaded by Jackie Chun and Goku to become good just because of, like, Jackie Chun's speech and, like, Tenshinhan kind of realizing that Goku's fighting style and philosophy is just more, I guess, like, more wholesome, so to say, I guess, and just Tenshinhan saw that Tsuru-Senin was not a good master, very dishonest, actually very evil. But I would just say that a very simple way to set this what if up is that Tenshinhan is just a lot more stubborn in this what if, that he's not as easily persuaded as he was. And so I would say that a way to start this out is that instead of Jackie Chun being allowed to give this speech that did persuade Tenshinhan slowly, I would say in this one, Tenshinhan just knocks Jackie Chun out of bounds instead of having that whole, oh, you're losing your nerve. I see you're not as energetic as before. Is my words affecting you? And then another thing is that during the final round, whenever Chiaotzu paralyzed Goku, we saw Tenshinhan object to that too. So I would also say that Tenshinhan either doesn't realize that Chiaotzu is paralyzing Goku and just gets the ring out instead of Goku doing that Kamehameha to avoid it, and he falls out of bounds. And then the next thing that kind of needs to happen, yeah, a lot of setup, but Piccolo Daimao is never released by Pilaf and the gang in this what if. So, with this setup, what are your first thoughts, Mark?
The dynamics have changed a lot, really. I mean, Goku losing in that manner is going to kind of fire him up for the rematch, so there's kind of no need for a new villain to appear because Goku's going to be motivated by being defeated that way, by the cheating, because he's going to realise something's gone on. It's also the case of Piccolo not coming is just going to change the power levels completely because Piccolo's influence on Goku, it makes him going back to Karen, it leads to eventually him training with Kami, for the the first fight with Piccolo Jr. So Goku's power goes through the roof because of Piccolo. Without him being around, it doesn't happen. It keeps everybody closer together. Also, we don't have Krillin die, so he's around training as well, probably training with Goku, which would increase his power, keeping him closer up. And Tien would probably stay around the same. I mean, during this tournament we were just talking about, Tien and Goku are relative, so there's not going to be this big gap between Goku and Tien. It's going to be who trains better leading up to the rematch is going to be the strongest. There's no kind of advantage from God training.
Yeah, and that's true. And another thing, like what you said, is that since Goku never drank the sacred water or is not going to be training with Kami, at least until later, I mean, we'll get to that whenever we get to that, but of course, the Turtle School and the Crane School go their own separate ways until the next tournament, and Tenshinhan and Chiaotzu still having Tsuru-Senin as their master, being obviously like the big change in this. Like, they're being indoctrinated further, like in between the 22nd tournament and 23rd. So yeah, Tenshinhan's going to be having those assassin values instilled with him even more over time. I mean, we saw what he did to Yamcha. I mean, especially if he was unhinged and if there wasn't the tournament rules, who knows what Tenshinhan or the Tsuru-Senin would condone and all that. I mean, especially since in the 22nd tournament, you saw Tsuru-Senin just, like, constantly call for the killing of, like, Goku and Roshi, and, like, you saw that he just did not care about the rules. Just midway through this, obviously, since Cyborg Tao is a thing, I think that Tenshinhan would meet up with Cyborg Tao, and ultimately does become an assassin with him. Just because, like, yeah, Tenshinhan did admire him for a time. But in the original 23rd tournament, we saw that Tao was very he couldn't tolerate Tenshinhan being stronger than him. But I would say that since Tenshinhan is ultimately still with the Crane School, I would think that Tao wouldn't mind so much in this regard. And of course, like what you were saying about Goku, like really pushing himself to fight Tenshinhan again, I would say that Tenshinhan would be just as excited to fight Goku as Goku is to fight him. What do you think?
Yeah, I completely agree with this. I think we're going to see kind of the training arc ready for the next martial arts tournament in kind of a traditional Dragon Ball way, where we're going to see Goku, Yamcha, and Krillin doing their training on their side for kind of the good martial artist school, if you want to call it that. Kind of like the Karate Kid, isn't it? The good school versus the dark school. And then we're going to go to the assassin side, where we've got Tao, Tien, Chiaotzu training, and it's going to be Turtle versus Crane. It's going to be a kind of build-up that's been years in the making, throwing it back to Master Roshi's training days. I really love the idea of Tien progressing to be an assassin, because really that's kind of the idea of the school, and Tao was his teacher at one point, so he's kind of followed in his teacher's footsteps. And as you said, I don't think he'd mind him surpassing him, because they both have the goal of defeating Goku. Tao is somebody who wants to beat Goku as well as Tien. They both suffered at Goku's hands. I kind of think the best setup for Tao is, we talked about this before and it's kind of off topic, but if we could say after Tao's loss and after the Red Ribbon Army loss, if Gero made Tao a cyborg, would really set up to him developing android. You know, he was his first subject in order to get revenge on Goku. I kind of like that origin story for Gero, which is a bit off subject.
Yeah, I mean, I like that just in general. I mean, not even part of this what if. I mean, it would have been better if, like, in the Artificial Humans arc, that Gero wasn't just brought up out of nowhere. But again, we're kind of off topic, so it would be interesting if we could see a new training arc with even more grand training, because one thing that we saw with Goku training for the 23rd tournament is that he was really getting pushed to his limits, even further beyond any type of other training. Like, Mr. Popo was a beast at the time. So it would be really interesting to see exactly what the Muten Roshi could come up with, or if Goku could come up with something even more grand than all the training that the Turtle School has been going through for, like, the 21st tournament and the 22nd tournament. Even though Goku wasn't there, he trained on his own. It would just be interesting for there to be new training methods or something like that. It would be more impactful than just Goku drinking some water and becoming really powerful.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I prefer kind of the old-fashioned training, you know, where you get to see it in front of you. I think they kind of set a precedent when Roshi sent out Krillin, Yamcha, and Tien into the world to train, you know, the same way he did with Goku. So maybe he would send Krillin and Yamcha to do kind of what Goku's already done, and then say, Goku, you've got to come up with something yourself. Or maybe they could train together, which would obviously bring up Yamcha and Krillin's powers.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what else they could do besides, like, I don't know. I mean, I just don't know what they could do, just because what we saw for the training arc in the 21st tournament seemed pretty grand. So without, like, some kind of, like, gods training Goku or something like that, it seems kind of iffy about what would happen or what kind of training that they would do. But I mean, enough about that. I would say we could talk about the actual 23rd tournament whenever they get there. And I would say that it begins seemingly normal, like Goku and the Crane School, like, meet up with one another. They have this animosity towards one another and all that. And I would say that just to kind of up the stakes and make this tournament truly unique, I would say that between the 22nd tournament and 23rd tournament, that Tenshinhan, Tao, Tsuru-Senin, and Chiaotzu recruited and trained a bunch of assassins, and that these assassin, like, dojo of assassins, kind of like a dark homage of, like, the dojo that Tenshinhan has in Dragon Ball Online and in Super. So I would say that these dojo of assassins hijack the tournament. Like, we see, like, these what you think are normal civilians, like, reveal themselves as these deadly assassins, and they're just like, you're all gonna play by our rules now. And our rules is that killing is allowed, weapons are allowed, and just whoever passes out, falls out of bounds, or dies is the loser, or just something like that. What do you think?
A good setup for that would be during the preliminary rounds when Goku and the gang normally kind of walk through things. They could see kind of Tien and that looking on as they face the first opponents and realise that they've gone beyond normal human level. They've had kind of advanced training, so they're not a walkover, they're not just going down straight away. And you kind of pick up the hints there that something strange is going on before it's kind of revealed why everybody's so much stronger, as well as this kind of animosity that Roshi would be feeling sat in the crowd, and Bulma sat in the crowd surrounded by the enemies, because that's where they'll be watching it from, unless Roshi's off with Jackie Chun, but I don't think he is. He's going to be kind of in a coaching role at this point, because he'd have accepted from the last tournament that his students were ready to kind of carry his torch.
Yeah, well, in this version, he never really got the chance to really convey that, so I would say a good chance for him to convey that is during the whole training arc for the 23rd tournament.
Yeah.
Like, maybe Roshi could be like, oh, I talked with Jackie Chun, and he said that he, like, retired or something like that. So, I mean, that's a good way to set it up, I think.
Yeah, it sounds ideal to me. I do like the idea of kind of our guys being backed into the corner, and it becoming a much darker tournament where killing is allowed, which obviously favours the Tien's team, because Goku, at this point, he's never killed anybody. You know, his first touch with that kind of thing was because of Piccolo when Krillin died, and he got that anger inside of him. We've never seen an angry, upset Goku. This Goku would be the happy-go-lucky Goku we see before those events. His personality won't have really strayed from that, where fighting's always been fun, and this is going to be the first time it's not just fun, there's kind of more motive behind it, more emotion.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially whenever, like, the dojo of assassins take over the tournament and have, like, regular people at knife point and, like, the announcer at knife point and say, or gunpoint or whatever, and saying, like, nobody leaves this tournament or you die or something like that. That would really up the stakes too, because you would know that there's no escaping.
Yeah.
That they have to fight out this tournament, otherwise they're all gonna die.
So let's get on kind of the matchups. I think we're ready for now, and kind of how this thing would be drawn. And we're still going to stick with a tournament format, and you kind of set up the first matches if we want to go into that.
Yeah, but I would say just a good way to set it up is kind of like the Universe 6 tournament, kind of like how they just send out one fighter at a time, and it's not like brackets or anything like that. It's just the team that has a fighter still on the team after everyone has fought is the winner. And so I would just say it would be just three versus 3 in this case. Goku, Kuden, and Yamcha versus Tao, Chiaotzu, and Tenshinhan. So we both talked about the first matchup, and I think that the first matchup should be a rematch between Kuden versus Chiaotzu. And I would say a good way to set it up was that it'd be like, oh, Kuden is winning and all that good stuff, and then he tries the whole, like, counting thing, and Chiaotzu is just like, can't fool me with that. Tsuru-Senin taught me in the meantime. And that's where I would say that Chiaotzu actually kills Kuden with his psychic powers. And like you were saying before, that's what would really set off Goku.
Yeah, I like the idea of this being kind of a more serious fight as well. You know, them counting not working, Krillin kind of playing his trump card and seeing it not pay off. And kind of the look on the onlookers' faces on Goku's, Yamcha's, Master Roshi's when they see Krillin go down kind of unexpectedly after being on top. Maybe Chiaotzu's had this kind of planned with the rest of the gang, so it looks like he's losing before the first death, which kind of changes the tone. I know it's kind of got more serious, but this is where it gets kind of dark for our team.
Oh yeah, and I would say that just to show like how good of friends like these two have become, I would say that Yamcha would be the one who steps up instead of Goku. And I would say that Yamcha does take the win this time, and what better way for him to take the win than the Spirit Ball actually working? And I would say, even like a cherry on the top of this match, I would say that Yamcha does knock out Chiaotzu, but he says that he's not going to stoop to the same level as the Crane School and kill him.
Yeah.
So I would say he either wins by knocking him out, or with the Spirit Ball, or knocking him out of bounds.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I kind of like the idea of Goku going to step up, kind of angry, and Yamcha going, no, let me handle this. And Yamcha actually, his plan actually working, you know. We see Yamcha do this and kind of fail. But no, this time he gets the win. I think that would make sense because we know that he would be stronger than Chiaotzu. And the Spirit Ball is kind of an awesome technique to kind of unveil at this point, as it was when we first saw it. So it would be a great moment for Yamcha, and the way that he's going to not kill him is going to really set the divide between the ideologies of the two schools and kind of start this rivalry. It's not a proper win if you don't kill him. Power is in the assassination, kind of the differences between the two schools. We'll build up to the Tao versus Yamcha match that we'd have coming next, because Tao would not understand why he hasn't killed him.
Oh yeah, Tao would probably... I could honestly see Tao kind of getting disgusted by Yamcha's just resolve, I guess, and just, like... Because Tao is like an assassin to the bone, and he is a very, very evil guy, too. So I think that Tao would probably have a similar attitude as Tenshinhan did whenever he fought Yamcha, as like, I'm gonna wipe that smug, like, moral compass off your face, or like, I'll show you, like, what your moral compass is gonna do for you. And so, I would say that this matchup, Yamcha would lose, but right before Tao is going to deliver the finishing blow, I would say that Goku comes in and saves him. Because I would say that Tao, like, knocks him out of bounds, but Tao isn't satisfied with that, and he goes to kill Yamcha, but that's whenever Goku saves him. And yeah, I mean, I don't know what you think about that.
I love that. That's a kind of traditional Goku entrance onto the battlefield, you know, kind of like the Ginyu Force stuff, or the Saiyan entrance against Nappa, where, you know, sweeps Gohan out the way at the last second. It could be a similar kind of thing. He moves Nappa out the way, and that's when Tao and the gang kind of become aware of Goku's power. Go, whoa, I didn't even see him move him, but someone saw, and that someone would be Tien, who's obviously the strongest player in that team. And then that would set up Goku-Tao rematch, which I don't see being a problem for Goku at this point. No, he's not as strong as he was in the original story, but Tao's been left behind by Tien and Goku pretty much comfortably, I would say, at this point.
Oh yeah, I would say at this point goes pretty much exactly the same as Tenshinhan versus Cyborg Tao, except for the fact of Goku, like, getting a scar or anything like that. I don't think Goku would drop his guard. I think that since Goku would be so mad, I think that he would just go straight in for the knockout. And again, I think that Goku would kind of say the same thing as Yamcha, is like, I'm not gonna stoop to your level, but this guy's gonna be out for days or something like that, like how what happened with Tenshinhan versus Cyborg Tao.
Yeah, that really works for me, kind of mirroring that fight. It would be great to see kind of Tien's reaction to seeing how Tao treated Chiaotzu, and then how Tao lost like this. It could kind of start setting the seeds for future events in Tien's brain, you know, about what's going to happen in the future in this what if.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then, of course, we have the Goku versus Tenshinhan. This would be a great matchup. I honestly don't know how it would go, but I would say that kind of parallel to, like, how the original series began, like how Goku eventually did win the 23rd tournament, and that he did eventually become the strongest under the heavens after losing twice. I still think that having that big payoff moment would be good, but I think that Tenshinhan getting defeated, and maybe, like, Goku kind of delivers a speech like how Jackie Chun did, because, like how he said in the beginning, Jackie Chun would have never had the chance to deliver this speech because Tenshinhan just went in for the win way too quickly. And that would make it to where there'd be no reason for Tenshinhan to hear Jackie Chun out. But since Tenshinhan, like we said earlier, would be excited to fight Goku, maybe he would hear out Goku about, like, it's like, why do you want to be a bad guy? Like, isn't using your powers for good better? And then maybe just like the whole, like, moral compass that Yamcha and Goku had about not killing Chiaotzu or Tao might kind of be the thing that gets Tenshinhan ultimately over with the Dragon Team and on their side, and kind of ditch Tsuru-Senin. I mean, what is your take on it?
That works for me. I mean, this fight's going to be a really close fight thanks to Goku being scaled down, thanks to the lack of the different route of training he took. And I think it really works, Tien changing this way, thanks to kind of the results of this little tournament we saw. We saw Chiaotzu kind of being disowned thanks to his loss. We've seen Tao defeated, so it's kind of blowing away the layers of brainwashing that's gone on through Tien's training. He's seeing that a different way may work in a kind of bigger way than he did in the original series, because it's gone on over years, you know. So I like the idea of Tien changing at this point and kind of filling the Piccolo role in future events.
Yeah, and that is what's going to be interesting whenever we get to part 2. But is there anything else you want to add, or anything, or any other last thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, I think we've pretty much covered everything. Obviously they've got to go and wish Krillin back, because we did have one casualty.
Oh yeah, they will wish him back, and there's no issue with that, since nobody's died twice in this version of the story, or the Dragon Balls never, like, disappeared or anything like that, or Shenlong was never destroyed by Daimao. So yeah, it'll be an easy revive for them, and I would probably say that, like you said, Tenshinhan would have the Piccolo role, but there wouldn't be this hatred between him and Goku. I think that he would respect Goku, unlike Piccolo.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. Yeah, perfect ending.
Yep, definitely. Until Raditz comes around. But anyways, guys, make sure you go and subscribe to Mark from Dragon Ball Dad. He makes excellent content, what ifs as well, and he's making content on JoJo and other anime, and of course Dragon Ball. So if you like that, you'll like his channel. But anyways, guys, we're going to wrap up the video now, and we will see you in the next one. Have a great day, guys.